mandate to lead the nation forward with its own vision and mission. Many Cameroonians seem to be asking one simple question: is the nation on a life support? Looking at what had happened in the previous mandate, the just ended mandate that we had with President Paul Biya, many are asking the questions: why is it that things are moving from bad to worst? Many would have expected that the 2018 presidential election would have been a turning point for President Paul Biya to restructure the nation, put the nation's economy on the right path, ensure the rule of law is respected from the highest level possible to the lowest level necessary, ensure that ministers who are charged with executing their duties execute these duties based on their job description, and those who are supposed to be superior must be respected, and the head of government must take his full responsibility with other ministers being under him and respecting his rule and his policy as the head of government. Many also were expecting that the corruption scandal that rocked Cameroon during the organization of the African Cup of Nations with the construction of major infrastructures across the country would have been propped, and those accused of corruption and embezzlement brought to justice, given a fair opportunity to explain themselves and justice be rendered, because President Paul Biya himself, during his end of year speech in 2022, made mention of the fact that CAN Gate, COVID Gate, all those things will be investigated. Those found responsible will be brought to justice, as no one is above the law, and the Cameroonian people seek justice and want justice be done. Many also were expecting that when they come to the aspect of agriculture, health, and infrastructural development, President Paul Biya would have been pragmatic in carrying out this. Above all, the visiting of the different regions, as other presidents will visit their respective parts of the country each year, back to back. Many were expecting that between the mandate of 2018 right to 2025, President Paul Biya would have done a tour across the 10 regions of Cameroon, major divisions of Cameroon, to see things for himself and to have first-hand information from the chiefs, the rulers, and authorities and opinion leaders who would definitely come and meet him to greet him when he visits their region. But these were not done. With the coming up of the 2025 presidential election, a lot of expectations, a lot of promises were made that the old has passed and the new has come. That let us give way to the new and ensure that Cameroonian people have a better standard of living, equal opportunity, and lower cost of living. But the reverse is true. The cost of living within the nation has skyrocketed. In fact, it is all-time high. The standard of living has dropped. The take-home package of many Cameroonians, especially those in the private sector, can barely take them halfway home for them to conveniently check and reach their houses and carry out their duties. A salary earner of 150,000 today eventually go broke within 2 weeks of the salary for those who are even very, very meticulous in using their money. Rents across our cities, towns have skyrocketed. No one seems to regulate them. The landlords are now the alpha and the omega, and the tenants are begging to stay in an economy that is limping and crawling, in an economy where many are practicing disguised unemployment, in an economy where many see how epileptic the electricity is, how also irregular some of the services are. With all these, in 2026, the Guradian Post Newspaper brought up a headline which they questioned Cameroon on life support. The reason they said so was they articulated numerous amounts of numerous points to ask this question: if Cameroon is on a life support. The Higher Judicial Council has not met within the last 5 years. The last time the Higher Judicial Council met was 5 years ago, and ministers, there have been about 4 to 5 ministers have been for 21 years in their respective ministry. Looking at the saga that is ongoing in the Port Autonome of Cameroon, the Port Authority, where a document allegedly coming from the head of state say SGS should leave. The Prime Minister had his own meeting with his Council of Ministers that the SGS contract should stay right up to 2032. Immediately after the head of government, until we listen to an interview from Jean-Ernest Bibingale, the Minister of Transport, whose authority is at the port, who is the person controlling the transport sector of Cameroon, stating that the SGS should stay. Just after that, there was another outing where we saw how some forces of law and order were used to chase away SGS from the Cameroon Port Autonome. This now leaves the question, who is in charge of the front seat? When ministers themselves are fighting each other, when results are not forthcoming, the Guradian Post said billions are being lost as the seaport is fighting the rigmarole. The Guradian Post actually articulated that several numbers of ENAM graduates are loitering around. They have not been deployed. There are 5 batches of ENAM graduates have not been posted. They are loitering around in their quarters. I'm not talking about 1 batch. I'm not talking about 2 batch. I'm talking about 5 batches of ENAM graduates are loitering around. The Guradian Post also noted that unproductive general managers, retired governors, SDOs are still in their offices enjoying the benefit of what they ought not to have enjoyed. The Guradian Post also made mention of the fact that over 71 board chairpersons illegally occupying offices in Cameroon. In the same Guradian Post, they made mention of the fact that aging leadership, fatigue showing control of government action in parliament. They also articulated that collaborators increasingly disputing bias instruction. They also noted that the broke government on ending borrowing spree is part of the reason why they are talking about and asking the question if Cameroon is on life support. They said dog eat dog, the fight among ministers crippling government's action. They articulated the fact that the conflict in the northwest and southwest region is raging on, and every day people are being killed. If you calculate the number of people being killed every day, we have 366 days in Cameroon. Calculate the number from the 9 years that this conflict has actually evolved. I'm talking about just a narrow calculation. Just assume that in the northwest and the southwest, 2 people are killed every day, and which the number is more because some are underreported. Some either directly involved with bullets, some because they could not receive treatment due to ghost town, some because their shop was burnt and their house was burnt. If you add all those figures, it can tell you the number of people who have died as a result of this conflict. We also look at the Guradian Post also look at the issue of the northern Cameroon, the Boko Haram insurgency, and all of this cacophony with the epileptic electricity going up and on, where Cameroonians, for them to have electricity, they must move to the street. We have seen it happen in Munya, it happened in Ma 18, it happened in Tole, it happened in Bokwango, it happened in Boyata, it happened also in some parts of the southwest, in some parts of Kumba. It has also happened in some parts of the northwest region. As that, if you must have electricity, you must move to the street. How did we get to this position? And that is why we're asking the question: is Cameroon on life support? This is House of Commons with me, Tamai Jarvis. I want to wish you a very big happy birthday, Rinda Yajengwa. Many more years. God continues to guide and protect you as you celebrated your birthday within the week. And also I want to seize this opportunity to wish you, Valerie, a happy big birthday as you celebrated your birthday the other day. Many more years to you, Valerie, and God should continue to guide and protect you. And this day I also want to wish you a very big happy birthday to you, which is Dominic. You celebrate your birthday today. Happy birthday to you, Dominic, and many more years. God continues to guide you. This is a month of lots of people I know. This is their birthday month, including myself. My own birthday will be on the 11th of February. So I want to wish all those celebrating their birthday within this period of February a happy big birthday to you, and happy Sunday. If you are just joining us on the program House of Commons. In the studio, we are joined by a cream of panelists. We apologize for the late start due to technical issues being faced. Man-made machine, and machines sometimes affect man's productivity. In the studio, we are joined by Mr. Bertrand, who is all the way from the southwest region of Cameroon, to discuss on this issue. Happy Sunday, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Mr. Jarvis. It's a pleasure to be here on this program today. We've been affected by traffic in the morning, but thank God for making it all today.
Well, thank you. How is Boya?
No, that's fine. That's fine. And it's a pleasure for this program today. I want to say that talking about Cameroon being under a life support, I can bear with you that it is actually something which is a call for concern, because there are two key things that have been affecting this current regime, which is accountability and assessment. First, when I talk of accountability, it's because the level of ministries, our ministers don't give accountability at the end of the year. Look at countries like we have Rwanda. At the end of every year, each minister gives accountability on what he or she have done on his budget. For example, in Cameroon, we have our ministers that at the end of the day, they don't give us accountability of what have been done or what have not been done with the budget that have been voted. It is a cause for concern. We have issues like roads, we have issues like electricity, but we don't know. We keep seeing money being borrowed every day, money borrowed from the World Bank, money borrowed from China by the head of state, but at the end of the day, we don't see the actualization on the ground. And it's a big problem that we are facing in Cameroon for the past years. We have seen issues in Southwest region. I have been there. I was in Munya the other time where the women came out, they were crying because of lights. Some same case in Limbe. Let me come back to Munya there, where they gave transformers, and the transformer came and functioned just for a week. I'm telling you, Mr. Jarvis, that just last week, the women came back on the streets that the transformer is not working. The transformer that they planted in Munya, because the women were rioting, I think 3 weeks ago. The transformer was just for a week. And I can tell you that I am an eyewitness that in Munya, we have Campaign Street, Cow Street, sorry, in Munya there, where the women came out that the transformer they installed made just a week and it stops working. So I don't know, there's no accountability. We keep seeing money being borrowed every day, billions of money. Look at the Yaoundé Douala Auto Road that since 2014, now it's 10 years. It's still at Bumyebe without reaching a day. When will the route reach Douala? It's a cause for concern. I think that we have to be accountable for what we are doing. That's the main key factor that is drilling down the government. And I think that it is time that the government take the bull by the horn to give us accountability of how they are spending the money they are borrowing, because we are the one, we the youths, we are the one to pay for this. Our children are the one to pay for this. Look at the last month I traveled. I was going to Yaoundé. We almost had an accident because our vehicle almost collided with the truck because the road was too narrow. Look at the Moyoka road. It's too narrow. A national road linking the big two, like we have Boya and Kumba.
And also linking Nigeria. That's a road. There's a trans.
It's terrible. I look at the garbage. The garbage after Munya, you leave Boya, you are descending to Moyoka. There's a garbage where they are dumping dirt. Yes, the minister, Mr. Atananji, gave the other day, he gave wheelbarrows and brooms, but it is something really disgraceful that in 2026.
That same place you are talking about caused an accident in. I lost an auntie, Miranda,
yes,
who died in that place because the garbage had come there and their vehicle was another vehicle was trying to overtake them in that same, because there's a bridge, there's a small bridge there.
Yes.
So a good number of people died there, including
I am a victim in that area because I think councils are aware of that place. It is a national road, but at times they don't even cover the road. It's a national linking Boya, and because I'm always going to Moyoka for 1 or 2 things. And the last month when we were descending, there was smoke that covered the road
because our
driver could not see the car coming ahead, so we almost collided. And I think the government needs to be accountable for. I think they have to inspect. I don't know whether it's the Council of Buya.
Okay, we'll be coming back to you.
Okay.
Coming back to you.
Okay, Mr. Davis. Okay.
We'll be coming back to you. So in the studio, we are joined by Mr. Kimbang, a member of the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, CPDM. Mr. Kimbang, how is the government on the happy Sunday first and Happy New Year?
Happy Sunday, happy Sunday to all the televiewers. Let me start by wishing one of my friends happy birthday, Madam Achang Pamela of Brain Primary School in Dokoti. Coming back to your question, I think we have a really disturbing situation in Cameroon. The fact that some of us are members of the party doesn't mean that we don't see what is happening. Truly, there are many people or many government officials who have been given responsibility and they have totally failed to do it. And that is why when you move around our cities, our streets, you discover that there is a lot of disorder. For example, I left Bonaberi this morning. You pass around Chateau, you see that there is a heap of dead there stinking. You reach Granga around Entre Matango, the same thing. And you see the way Douala 4 is. Sometimes the other day I was even talking, I was doubting whether there is a mayor there. So I want to believe that there are so many people who have failed this government, and we cannot deny that fact. Last Saturday, I was traveling from Bamenda to Yaoundé. I was shocked. You see, the road is like a road going to a small village. And this Saturday, yesterday, I left Bamenda for Douala. The nature of the roads, I really cried. And it is a very disturbing issue because when you hear the amount of money that the state is borrowing, you begin to ask yourself, where is this money being put into use? It's not a bad thing borrowing money, but it depends on how that money is being put into use. The other day I was reading something on social media where they say they have given contract for somebody to produce, to install street light that costs, was it 1 million per street light? Yes. Yes, and you see the exaggerated nature in which the state money is being used. There is a lot of questions, and you talk about the issue at the port, because even me, a member of the party, sometimes I begin to doubt whether when people come and say high instructions, whether really those high instructions are really coming from
the head of state.
From the head of state, because the Prime Minister and head of government cannot come and say that this is what is supposed to be.
The College of Ministers,
yes,
not only him.
Then somebody will now come and say high instructions. Where is this high instruction now coming from? Do we have two heads of state that when this one gives his own, the other gives another contrary? So sometimes it gives some doubt in the minds of Cameroonians, which I think that the powers that be should try to see how they can restore confidence in the minds of Cameroonians, because to be very candid with you, many Cameroonians, they are really doubting where the ship of the nation is sailing to. And I want to believe that, I've always said it here, that when you are given a post of responsibility, do it with love and abnegation. Do it knowing that you are doing it for your children. For example, when I want to do something, I'm saying that I'm not doing for myself, I'm doing for my children and maybe my would-be grandchildren. But I've discovered that in Cameroon, it is like people just want to eat the cake and sweep the table, which for me,
people think about the next election, not the next generation.
Yes, people think about the next election and not the next generation, which is extremely something that is very, very bad. There are many things. When you look, the other day I was reading where they said we are already above 2.6 trillion francs CFA. And when you look on the ground, sincerely, you don't see see the manifestation of 2.6 trillion. Yes, because if we are borrowing this money and this money is being put into good use, and those who have been entrusted to do work, they have put this money into good use, nobody will question it. The reason why Cameroonians are questioning these things because they just hear amounts of money being borrowed, and they cannot see what that money is being done. So sincerely, I cannot say that Cameroon is on a good footing because I'm a member of the CBDM. No, there is a problem, and that problem I will call on the ministers, the prime ministers, the president, who is the head of government, to step in and see how these ministers are cautioned to carry out their responsibility. Because when you look at how some of these ministers are behaving, it is as if they will not give account to anybody. They will not give account to anybody. They just do things. And sometimes it irks me when I see people disobeying the prime minister as if he is a child. The other day he was in Boya, where he said no, a refinery cannot be built in Kribi. But by the time he was reaching Yaoundé, another meeting was being held, and there was the launching of the project. So I begin to doubt whether do these people go and hold a meeting behind the prime minister, or is he really part of them? Because I cannot see why I'm a prime minister, then my subordinates, the whole meetings and projects are proposed, projects are to be launched. I don't know. And that is why I'm even praying that in the next government, somebody like Atanganji, if they can name him the prime minister, I'm sure that would be my best wish, because that is somebody that I know that if he's made the prime minister, you cannot deal with him. He is somebody that he works and even works beyond boundaries. He's somebody that covers, when he sees that you are not doing your work well, he does it for you. So I'm praying that next government, Atanganji Paul should at least should be appointed. Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll be coming back to you, Mr. Ezia. We are looking at this situation. First, happy Sunday and thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Mr. Jervis. It's my pleasure to be part and parcel of this program. I think it's always a pleasure that they call me, make sure I answer present so that we can enlighten Cameroonians and then give our own quota as far as nation building is concerned. So I want to salute all the televiewers of my media prime, especially those of this particular program, House of Commons. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Now let's look at this issue. Is Cameroon on the life support? The first issue, which the Guradian Post talked about, is the frequent disorder when it comes to high instruction, disrespect of high instructions. So where are we heading to? Or are there two presidents where someone, or does the president have two separate meetings? He discussed A with these people and he discussed B with these people?
You see, Mr. Jervis, you see, even the white man, when he comes or fabricate a car, at one time a theoretic car can run only for a certain number of years. And so there are all signals that the system or the government in place is gradually going to an end. Because if you look at it critically, it's not only the Guradian Post, many other newspapers, they have written that it's like nobody is governing this country for now. And that is for sure, because there is a lot of cacophony. I don't imagine, because you see the head of government is the prime minister, meaning that after the president of the country is supposed to be the instructions of the prime minister.
On those who run government operations.
That is it. So when we see that he comes here and give an order and it is counteracted, it means therefore that the person that is at the helm, there is a question there, because he is want to maintain order within the government, because he's the one that is at the helm, and if he say my prime minister has said this, it must be respected. Therefore, you see that we are not wrong. Many of us have said once in a while that when we look at Cameroon, the prime minister is a figurehead. We are not wrong to say that it's a figurehead, because if we want to really say he is the head of government, I think his instructions will be respected. And so when you see the system as it is because it is a whole cobweb that some people will not want to come out of the system. It is a system that it is so interconnected, Mr. Javis. I was traveling to Kotor this weekend, and just the commentary that people were giving in the car, I nodded my head and said, we are not even on a life support, we are in a doom, because it becomes so difficult to penetrate the system. It becomes so difficult. People were giving stories concerning certain companies, how they belong to those who are in government, how they are under the control of ministers. And then when you look at it like that, then you ask yourself this question: is it easy for these people to easily be thrown out? I read somewhere that some ministers were saying that if they send them out, they will not go until they hear from the horses. Guarantee. From the horse's own mouth. Meaning that the person that is in control is not doing his job. Because if they say...
What do they mean that? What do they mean that they will not go until they hear from the person's own mouth? Does it mean that somebody else is in charge?
That is the question that we are asking ourselves. And Mr. Jeff, it is there. I read it that if I am removed, I will not go until I hear directly from the head of state. It means there is a question mark.
Yeah, but those are still allegations.
But they are allegations, but they can be no smoke without fire. It is normal, Mr. David. Can be no smoke without fire. So you see, the country needs a lot, like my brother was saying. Thank God, it's my first time of being in a panel like this with somebody from the ruling party that is very, very positive with what we are seeing with our eyes. It means even those of the ruling party, they themselves, they know that things are not moving well. True, Cameroon is not moving well. If you look, everything in Cameroon is up and down. So it is a call for concern, and I feel before now, because when we are talking of a new government that is supposed to come in place. And my brother, I thought before now you people had prepared the government.
Yeah, because the head of state said in the coming day. The days now become in the coming week. The week becomes weeks. The weeks has become months.
And then I begin to ask myself,
maybe it will be in the coming year.
Was there no plan of action? So when we talk and go. I laugh because let me, before I hand over the microphone, there has been no day in this country. My brother talk of accountability. That even those who we call our parliamentarians will say, this is the budget that I had last year, and this is what I was able to achieve, for Cameroonians to judge for themselves, so that if it comes election again, we can re-elect them into office. The same thing with the mayors, that they are there. Every day they keep talking of budget in Cameroon. They will say last year the budget was, let me just take for example, 10 million. The next year they will tell us that this budget we are increasing to 15. Every year in Cameroon we increase budget. The work is going on. It's a problem.
We can talk about some mayors, some parliamentarians. Because my mayor is doing well.
No, when you look at the average, let's just look at the average.
Let's just look at the
percentage.
The percentage.
The percentage. The law of democracy talks of majority. Because we want to see the percentage that is actually doing the. Look at Bonaberi. Come to Douala. Douala is like a big style. It's not normal. It means that the mayors there, they are not doing that.
That was what even got Minister Paul Atanganyi angry in Yaoundé, because Yaoundé also was there. It's the same like Douala.
Yaoundé, when we see Yaoundé itself, you are not even. I saw from a foreign channel, France 24 English, showing how dirty Yaoundé is. I think it's not normal for us to be having such images from a foreign channel. It means that even there in Yaoundé there is a problem. So I used to feel that it is good that we actually accept that we have failed, and maybe we give another person a try. Maybe things can be better.
Yeah, talk about
briefly.
Talk about Bonaberi. I think that for the moment, Bonaberi is the dirtiest quarter in Douala. Because last week I was in the Obasi, I was in the Koti, I went all around Douala last week, but Bonaberi is the worst in form of roads, in form of dirtiness, in form of garbage along the roads. I think that people of Bonaberi, elections are coming. You people should think well. so that we should not live like we are pigs.
When you say think and think well, you are of the CPD. Are you saying that
I am of the CPTM, and I would not like that they should elect somebody who cannot deliver because I'm of the CPTM. I'm a human being. If diseases broke out in Bonaberi now because of if cholera broke out in Bonaberi now, it's not going to say, okay, Mr. Kimbang, you are CPTM, go and stand this way, let me attack those who are of the opposition. So I always, from the fact that if you are not doing your work well, even if you are from the CPTM or you are from SDM, shift aside. My problem is Cameroon. My problem is not CPTM. My problem is that anybody who can do his work well, let that person lead in the council or in the parliament.
But that does that not expose the inactiveness of these persons working? Does that not expose the primary, the way in which your party select officials to stand in for election?
I don't think there's only one person who is in the CPDM Bonaberi. Bonaberi has a lot of people who are in the CPDM who can deliver. And so those who are in the CPDM Bonaberi, they should by now know that it is not going. I live around Sejo Polo. If you live from the Rai going down to Abattoir, if you reach Abattoir, you will even cry. But that is a road. All the beef that is consumed in the water, that's where it is produced. I asked to myself that, but this guy, does he not go and buy meat for his family that he does not see this road? It doesn't mean that since you are a CPTM mayor, you should come and disgrace the party and we should clap for you. No, he is not doing his work. So people in Bonaberi should think and think well.
Okay. Now let us look at this issue. A lot of things are plaguing, and Cameroonians are asking the question. The issue about the Post newspaper. The Post newspaper published the street light 1 million francs per street light, in which the Post newspaper even went further to say that the company that took the contract did not follow due process, did not pass through the tender board, that the contract was not sent to the tender board for others to compete and see who can offer a better service, and that it was somehow nicodemously awarded. It was a negotiation where somebody negotiated the contract without passing through the tender board based on the signature signed by Ferdinand Gongo.
I think even the law of nature tells us that when something is old, it becomes weak. It cannot more work. So I think the system is old, and that's why things are not moving as expected.
But they just won the election, eh?
No,
yes,
they just won the election, but
we are not even reached 4 months.
Yes, but what Cameroonians really want, we are not seeing it. That's why, like I said, the system is old, and I think that we are tired of seeing the faces every day. For decades, we are seeing the same people. That's why even the Post newspaper told us that, or tells us that they are ministers for 21 years, the same position, and it's terrible, it's horrible. We have youths out there who are educated, youths out there who are from universities, but they are not given the opportunity to actualize things on the ground. That's why the problem you raise of one electric pole costing 1 million, which means that if we are to electrify Douala, how many electric poles do we have in Douala? Thousands or millions of electric poles. You will see that there's a problem somewhere. And this problem is that the system is old and it's weak. That's why I believe that sooner or later things will become at least fine for Cameroonians. And I also want to say that the upcoming elections that we don't yet know, we don't know the dates. They keep saying that in the coming days. The head of state told us that in the coming days. We thought of February. We are almost now entering March, and we don't yet know whether by May they will still say in the coming days. So I think something is wrong somewhere, and that has to be adjusted. Cameroonians are going through difficulties. Look at the Japuma, is it the Olembe Stadium that we always saw it during the Nations Cup in 2017. To date, no accountability. I think it was more than 1 billion, more than billions of money.
They borrowed additional money.
Yes, it was more than 1 billion.
And 15 billion
it was used during the Nations Cup finals in 2017. To date, so and it's dilapidated. I saw the image the other day on Facebook, and I was.
And it has not been officially commissioned.
Yes, I could not believe that this is the image of a stadium that has been used once, billions of money, and if that money was being used to maybe to fund or to employ youths or to create jobs for the youths, it would have been better. Rather than, that's why I say there's a problem. There's a problem of management, and the main issue is that the system is old and it's weak, and we the youths, we are tired, and we think that one day things will get fine. I'm just taking reference from Burkina Faso, where they have a young leader there he's a young man and he's moving. He goes right to the hinterlands, he goes to the interior areas, he communicates with people. But our own head of state, he's isolated in Yaoundé.
Now, when you say the system is old,
yes.
These people won an election just October, November, December, January, February. We won an election 5 months ago. The head of state was officially commissioned 4 months ago.
But we are not seeing him.
They are not been up to 1 year in power.
We are not seeing him. We are not seeing him. We are not seeing that.
It's a new system now.
We are not. The problem is this system. I want to learn. I want to learn.
It's a new system.
Because you made mention that he was elected. I cannot say no, but we are not seeing him, the person we elected. If actually the we is really.
Some people say that you are not going to dinner to ask for.
No, we are not seeing our head of state. Like I raised an issue the other day that we usually see head of states like even in Trump sitting in an office, but in Cameroon it's a contrary. We see our head of state, but maybe twice a year.
There was a time that we saw the head of state sitting with his members of families and fights around him.
Yes,
it was. Fights were around, family around with documents.
It was a horrible image because I doubt where a head of state sits in his house and there are fights thrown all over. Maybe there may be decreased people's documents, important files there.
Yeah, but at least you are making mention. Yes, at least you are making mention.
No, it was.
I've seen Trump's White House.
I'm talking about
office. I think that was also the head of state with files that we have at least seen.
No, I'm talking about this is something different from what I'm talking about. It's something different because we are talking about an image of a head of state in his house with files all over. I've never seen Trump's office is not like that. If you are comparing with Trump, it's not like that.
I think that's the first time we have even seen.
Yes, but I'm just being frank. We see him twice a year on TV. He's not someone that we can see. He cannot. We have crisis in North and Southwest. He could go to Northwest in Bamenda, in Dop, and say, "Okay, I have come. What's the problem?"
But we also see him receiving audience, granting audience.
No, he sits there and waits for people to come. People who some of them cannot even afford. We have people who have issues in the villages that they cannot afford to travel to Yaoundé. So he waits. He is to save the people. The people elected him. He should save the people. The head of state is the powers are given by the people. We are in a democratic nation. We should not act as if we have to sit somewhere and people come with their problems. Yeah. We should go to the field. Yeah, we have ministers, we have delegates. They should go to the fields and to assess problems, issues, meet the people one-on-one. That's why the crisis that we are having in Northern and Southwest may never end because the system, in fact, the government does not want to stop the crisis because there are people benefiting from this crisis from one way or the other. It's becoming a business, like what my elder brother said. That it's a business. It's all because
the government says that they have carried out measures to end this conflict. The Grand National Dialogue held in 2019, 30th of September. The release of some prisoners, the granting of amnesty, the creation of DDR centers, disarmament and demobilization for people to come and drop their arms. They also redeployment of teachers. They also redistribution of ministerial cabinet. That for the first time had Anglophone becoming members of top ministers like Atanganji Paul and also Nalova Lyonga. And the government also says that they have also went abroad to discuss with some of these stakeholders. Those are measures that they say they are taking
for
to
9 years. The point is for 9 years, no solution means that there's something wrong. Means they are not the right, accurate measures. You cannot be saying that you are solving an issue or you have solved an issue for 9 years. The National Dialogue in 2019, I think people, in fact, I describe it as a monologue where the one party gave conditions for it. So it cannot be called a dialogue. A dialogue is when two parties come together and say, okay, this is what I want and this is what I want. Where a single individual or a person or one party says, okay, people should come and give conditions to, it becomes a monologue. So I think that the measures that the government have put in place, they are not worthy enough. That's why we are still into the crisis. People keep dying every day. We saw what happened, the massacre in Zikindu that happened weeks ago, a month ago.
Yeah, we were the issue about the killing in the Gidado killing.
Yes.
And yes, the Gidado killing. You're talking about the Gidado killing.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. And we saw that the minister or the government sent matras, rice. It's not the solution. The people will be eating the rice under what circumstances? You will not expect that you allow people to be dying and you keep giving them food.
When you say allow people to die, the government is
no, it's allowing people to die because they are not providing solutions and the knife and the yam is in their hands.
Okay.
You cannot tell me that the government cannot stop this crisis because there is what we call, like I will still come back to my word, that they are tired. The system is tired.
The system is
tired. The system is tired.
When we talk about tiredness, it's
tired. It's
old. Yes.
Yes.
It's not the issue of tiredness. I said here that the willingness to do your work. There are Cameroonians who are good in everything that they do. This thing that people are doing, they will think that they are tired or they are this. It's not because they are tired. The willingness to do good things is not there. Okay, let me give you an example. Because I thought I always go back to my municipality in Cambe. The mayor of Cambe, see what he's doing. The mayor of Ndu, see what they are doing. Are they not in the same government? They are in the same government. But the fact that they love their people, the fact that they want to see Cameroon progress. You think that the mayor in Douala 4 is very old? He's a young man. But the ability to do what is right is not, the willingness to do what is right is not there.
When you say the willingness to do what is right in Douala, the mayor may think that we have organized this.
No, we are not organizing. No. I live there, and I feel the impact because only the stage that comes from that Granga, where they sell food, that where they sell everything, it's disturbing. So I want to believe that the willingness is not there. Then when we talk about the crisis in the northwest and the southwest, like what is happening, I live in Bamenda, and,
yes.
And I want to be very frank here that the major national dialogue did not yield much fruit, because there is no day in Bamenda where I will get up and open my phone and I will not see that 2 corpses were thrown in Tanka, 2 corpses were thrown at the hospital about. 2 corpses were thrown here at New Road.
That's become a new normal.
It's become a new normal, which is not correct. Because I always say that if I have a dispute with you, and I sit with you, and I dialogue with you, the fruit of our dialogue is what? Peace. If we don't have peace, then it means that the dialogue did not work. And I've always said it time and again that let us not behave as if people hate this country. Nobody hates this country. If you go to Bamenda when they are playing football, you see the enthusiasm. They love that these people, they have that Cameroon should win. You know that they don't hate this country. I want to tell my government that organize a dialogue where everybody will be able to vomit his or her mindset. Don't organize dialogue and tell people that you must not say this, you must not say that. The fact that people are saying that, oh, we want to go, it doesn't mean that they want to go. It is because they are not comfortable.
They are not comfortable.
If they are comfortable, if somebody is comfortable, the person will not like to leave. So I always say that if there is a way that these stakeholders can be put on the ground on one table and they sit and talk, it will be better. Let the separatists come. Let the unionists come.
Yeah,
let the federalists come.
The government
let the confederates come.
Yeah, but the government argues that in the major national dialogue in 2019, 30th September, invitations were given to some of the separatist leaders to come to the dialogue, and they refused.
No, the problem was their safety was not guaranteed. And if those who were here, like the Sissoko, Ayok Tabe and the rest, were not removed to come and sit on the table, how am I sure that me coming from America, I will go back? That is the problem. Yes, because when it comes to this Anglophone issue, it's a matter of life and death. It's not a matter of because you are the CBDM, because I'm in the Northwest, a stray bullet will not come and touch me because I'm the CBDM. No. It can happen to anybody. The other day, my colleague was crying in the office that a stray bullet cut the son. So what will you do? So it's good that when we talk about this Anglophone crisis, because if you go to the Northwest now, it's not more war. It's a matter of score settling and maybe open day stealing. Because I live in Bambili, it will not, every night you have gunshots. And these gunshots, sometimes they don't shoot at the soldiers, they shoot at civilians, trying to kidnap people. We mean that people are now using that umbrella as amber to do evil. I can decide to be an amber. Because if you come to Bamenda and I attack you and I say I'm an amber, how will you know? You will not know. So now, in order that this thing should end,
so we will just use it.
Yes.
Just say, okay, they are amber.
If you come to Bamenda now and just enter my house with a gun and say that you are amber, how am I going to defeat that you are Tama Jabis? I will not accept. Whatever thing you collect and go. And when you collect and go, I'll start to cry that Amber has come and has collected my things. But whereas maybe they are just organized groups of thieves. And we always say in the dialect that when you beat a child, you send him under the bed. You don't send him outside. The people in the Northwest and the Southwest, all of us belong to this nation, and this nation is ours. And we have the right to cry out when we are not well. If a child is not well fed, you have a child that who has not eaten well and he's crying at night. It's his right to cry. And when he cries now, ask him, what do you want? I can able to provide you this, and I will not provide this. Because when we are just silent, we just say, no, we people don't have a problem. We have already solved all your problem. We have already dialogue. We cannot dialogue again. I think that we are not helping things.
Okay, we'll come back to you. Greetings to you all in the House of Commons, where the common man is heard. We thank you very much for this program every Sunday. My brother, Mr. Jarvis, is Elliot writing from Limbe. I want to say this country now is just like a moving locomotive engine rolling with no driver, but just the rails directing it movement, which can at any moment fall into the sea. Like a panelist said, a minister made a statement that if he does not hear from the horse's mouth that he has been removed from office, he will not leave. Mr. Jarvis, I also heard that same statement some days. So when I think of the whole scenario ongoing in this country vis-a-vis the October 12 presidential elections, linking to the statement is very clear to understand that that minister is trying to make the rest understand that they have joined together to rig the okay, for the head of state to remain in power. And why are you trying to remove me when he himself has not said so? So you see that the kind of funny things that are happening in this country, which people who are supposed to be moving the country forward are instead fighting for their own personal position. This was his happy Sunday, Mr. Jarvis. Please, when you're sending us a message, be a bit Republican. Don't insult. Send a message with your point of view, and don't insult people, because when you insult, I may not read the message. We are like Professor Elvis Ngole said, we are in a Republican, and the Republican, we must be Republican. The Republican. So, Mr. Asia,
yeah.
Another issue here. You have ministers who have been for 21 years in the same position. Is it that the head of state is not aware, or is it that they have been so productive that they needed to be it for 21 years and they need to be renewed?
Mr. Jarvis, it's not like the head of state is not aware, he is aware. You see, we operate in a system that is like we want to compensate people because they help in you winning an election. And therefore, since this particular minister comes from a particular area, he must be maintained there in order for us to continue to have victory from that area. I think that's just the reason why some places were even own ministers in this country. There are places that own ministers, and it's like some people even choose the type of ministry that they are going to run in this country. So it makes them to remain there. So when my brother is talking about change in the CPDM, I'm asking how possible the change can come. Even the election that my other brother talk of, it still has a very big question mark here. Because a minister that has been in place for 22 years, is it possible that that minister can be thrown out anyhow? It's difficult. It's like he has planted the taproot in the system. There's no way. And those are the type of ministers that are giving this statement that unless I hear from the horse's mouth, I cannot go out of the ministry. But what happened? Are you doing your job correctly? That is the question. Because most of them are not doing the job. There was a moment that the Minister of Transport came to Douala here. the work of road construction was poorly done by a Chinese company, and a question that he asked, I was marveled. He asked I think was the director or what, that have you ever constructed a road before? I asked myself, before giving the contract, you did not take all these parameters into consideration, only to come and see that you are asking. It's the same that we are saying that the aspect of electric light, that they have just given it to a company without any other negotiation. That is how the system functions, and it is a very funny thing that, like my brother has said, we all love this country, and I feel it is high time that we say we have failed. It is high time we acknowledge that we have failed and see how we can, you see, the way forward. I was following an interview concerning the person of the Port Authority. I think he has a very good idea, which is, I think, is the scanning system that he wants to bring in. And he made mention of the fact that during the AFCON that we had in Cameroon, there was scanning. I actually went to Japuma and I passed through a scan, and he did it for free, just to test how it can happen. And he said, we will follow this system. We are going to, the government is going to benefit a lot. All this back business that is passing within the poor, it will not happen again. But do you think it is working well? That is why instructions are coming from the Prime Minister, some are coming from because the system does not want something that is good. The system doesn't. Imagine that you are traveling. I traveled last time from Boya to Kuma, and the driver was complaining that only the settlement that you do on the way Kumba to Munya to Kumba is 25,000 francs. Is that normal? And I even heard from a law officer saying that the driver has not yet passed on the counter to give money. What is that? Where are we? And it becomes a system that I don't know, my brother. We should rethink Cameroon. I think Cameroon, we should actually rethink it, because it is a system that, if we want to maintain this very system, I bet you, Mr. Davis, the system, nothing will be done in this country. Because look at where people say they are controlling, they call themselves road safety. Look at the road that they are talking about, road safety. The nature of the road. Can you, that you are walking, they say that you are for road safety? But there are potholes everywhere. What are you talking about? What road safety are you talking about? And then you look at the nature of the cars that we accept them in the country. Somebody called them Gongoro. Look at the state of cars that we accept that they should run on our highway. How do the country not have accident on a daily basis? I think Mr. James is not laughing something. The country, it is very normal that when you have downs and downs, you must get tired. It is normal. And when you have downs and you are tired, it's good, brother. It's good that you give way for another person to. Yeah, but
there was an election. That was why people were given the opportunities to choose. And they recently, like the Northwest and Southwest, overwhelmingly voted. They said they love President Pobia so much that they came out massively more than even some areas that were peaceful. They said, no, Papa must stay.
And Mr. Javis, that is very true. The CPDM won the election. There's no doubt it was proclaimed, and but there were some questions, because if you see other countries, I saw I think it's Guinea-Bissau. I saw what happened after the swearing in of their president. After the swearing in of the president, we saw an image that the president was riding on the street in a bicycle, and people were.
You know, that's Guinea-Conakry. We are talking about Mamadou Doumbouya.
People were shouting, I mean, without any security, without any convoy.
So, no, he has security. He's one of the most guarded presidents.
No,
when he went to deposit his candidacy, he was flanked by his 5-star protection.
What we saw, and even when he was taking power, we saw it was not like some of the African countries.
But the same thing happened in Cameroon. We saw President Pobia when he went to campaign in the north.
Mr. Davis, there are certain extremes in this country that we know these things. We should not be.
Why say we
all of us.
No, I don't know. I don't know.
It's
Say you.
difficult in a country like ours. It is no, but this is true. I think I, for one, that I am like this. I'm more than 40 years old. I've seen my president only once
when he came to Boya.
When he came to Boya, it's uncalled for. He's the president of the republic. I think it should be a normal routine that, because I used to say, when you see the president visiting a region, there are certain things that take place. There is development. I think if the president had been going around, let me say for 10 years, I said this year I'm going to the northwest. You see that there will be development in northwest. Road will be constructed. There will be some adjustment there. Because people will want to adjust so that he does not come there and say that we are not working. And then he said next year I'm going to the south. Before he goes around for 10 years, the whole Cameroon is developed. This issue of the auto route that is, so we are talking about that my brother made mention. If he leaves Yaoundé, that is coming back to Douala, I gave this contract or auto route that the Minister of Transport should, but before he arrives Douala, he sees that there is no auto route, it will be a call for concern. He goes back and says, Mr. Minister, what is happening? And if it is not organized, why what is happening in Cameroon? I think Mr. Javis, when we don't do your work well in Cameroon, is when you are applauded in this government. But it's true.
Okay, we'll be coming back to you. We'll be coming back. Okay, let's take on this advert at this time. The advert which is coming up. There's an advert coming up exactly 1:30.
I am Express Exchange, leader in money transfers within Cameroon for more than 15 years via my international partners MoneyGram, Western Union, Ria Transfer, World Remits, and others. You can send and receive money all over the world. I assist you in all your mobile money transactions and buying of communication credit. You're always welcome to my 300 branches for payment of your ENEO, electricity bills, and your university tuition fees, the payment of school fees, and competitive examination fees for high schools and college via the Campus Money platform. Because your satisfaction is my priority, I assure you on ever-increasing and improved quality service, payments, availability of cash for your transactions. Express Exchange, the #1 in quality service in Cameroon.
Yeah, you're welcome, Mr. Isaac. You were about landing.
I was about concluding to say that, like the other co-panelists, they have said with regards to what is taking place in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon, I want to also feel that it is but normal that a child grows to maturity. And when a child grows to maturity, the way you treat a child is not like when he was an infant. So that, what I mean is, you dialogue with a child also. And when we say dialogue, at times we will not just dialogue with the child alone. You call the mother and put by the side and say. So that to me, I feel that if we want to actually see, because I know the government has the knife and the yam, he can do it and do it very well, and there will be peace in the northwest and southwest region of Cameroon. It gives room for an open dialogue, and we call for a third party to be like a mediator. We look for a mediator so that things can move well. Because when I see my brother you are talking today, they have gone in Bambali, the next day you hear in Gokutunja, we are killing ourselves. And I ask myself, when are we going to stop this?
Okay, before moving to Bertrand, let me take on these messages. I think it's Bertrand or you?
Me, I'm
okay, it's Bertrand. This one says, Mr. Jarvis, things are not going well in Cameroon because of lack of accountability, and the government starts a race to development by running past the starting point before realizing where the real starting point was, and that is why we have so many projects to be completed, some completed but can't be used. Signs of a ship without a shepherd. Every ship moving as they will. Kevin writing from Bamenda. This alright. Mr. Jarvis, our country is on autopilot because the head of state is nowhere to be found. We only see him when he's receiving urgent. Like one of your panelists said, I've never seen the office of the head of state. Inside it looks like, but I know how Tinubu's own look like, how Trump's look like, how Putin looks like, how even Kim Jong-un look like. But President Biya, I've not seen. I've seen also how Museveni's office look like. Now, let us move to the next point that the Guradian Post articulated. The Guradian Post articulated the fact that the ENAM 5 batches of ENAM graduates are loitering around.
I think that there's a problem. There's a serious issue in this country, Mr. Jarvis, because aside of that, we have, I'll come back to teachers. Teachers is in connection with the ENAM, like teachers are being trained in the teachers training college, but they come out and they are on the streets. Teachers are being trained by the government, but they come out and they are teaching in the private sector. It's a problem. I don't believe, or I don't think that in the right thinking, like a state that really wants to employ its people, you will train someone like a teacher. We have grade 1 teachers, grade 2 teachers who have gone to, I know many of them who have gone to Cameroon, who have gone to the one at my 17 Buya. They are at home for 20 years, 10 years without being recruited by the state. And they are being trained by the state. So it's a problem. It's the same issue that I'm connecting with what you are asking me about the ENAM graduates who are at home without without jobs or whatsoever. So it's a problem. So I want to ask that, what's happening? Why can you train someone as a state and the person comes out without jobs? It's a problem. So I think that the government needs to implement this and to strategize a way that when someone is being trained, from especially the teacher, we have thousands, millions of teachers in Cameroon that are at home. Some of them are teaching in private schools. They are being recruited in private schools, and you hear the salaries here, you become, in fact, it is terrible. So I think that the government should ensure that when a teacher gets to a training school and comes out, there should be direct recruitment. I don't know if this current system will do that, but I believe that one day Cameroonians shall overcome the difficulties, because there are a lot of things are happening, especially the ENAM graduates are talking about. Someone goes through ENAM and he wants to even look at the road, the means he took to get into the ENAM is terrible. I will not even say here that there are so many things that are happening. To get into ENAM in Cameroon, we all know what transpires or what
yeah, we know that it's just to write the exam now and do.
No, it's not like that. It's not like that.
What has changed?
No, it is not like that.
Because I know that it's just you will go and register for the concours, you write the exam, you write the theory, you write the practicals. To get into ENAM in Cameroon, it is not a day job. It's not about intelligence or whatsoever. So what really is happening?
Let me tell you, it's not like that. So what I can say is that
so what is
when
like
they come out of the ENAM.
Yeah, so what is like that? If not like that, what is like that?
I am telling you there are things happening behind.
Like what?
I'm just telling you, I have never been a victim of it, but I'm telling you there are things happening behind.
Like what?
There are things happening behind to get into ENAM.
Yeah, you are saying, because me I know, maybe Kimbang knows, or this Asia knows that the way to get to ENAM is to write the concours. Let me start with the concours, write the concours.
Let me answer you.
And you go to oras. You pass oras. If you pass, your name is published.
Let me answer you about the ENAM issue. I know of so many persons who have been there, who have tried to be there, who are out of there, who are out of ENAM. Some of them they have tried to be there.
Because I know of someone who wrote and did not give any of those things and passed it.
No, it can happen really, but I cannot. We are looking at the percentage. It's somehow, yes, it's somehow impossible.
So
it is very painful when you come out of ENAM, passing through all those difficulties, and you come out and you are not employed. It's a problem.
5 batches still.
Yes, 5 batches. It's a problem, because I know, I am to be sincere, that out of 100%, even up to 10% of Cameroonians who get into ENAM goes there through the normal route. So I think that if there's a problem somewhere, and coming out, please let me just say, and coming out of the ENAM and you are unemployed, I think that's why you see Cameroonians, some of them on the roads, some of them are bandits, some of them are becoming terrorists, because in fact, they cannot withstand such type of humiliation and financial expenses. It is terrible. So I think the government needs to do something, Mr. Jarvis.
yeah, we understand, but the issue is, why you say there's something that is being done? Many people are confused.
No, what I'm saying, I know what I'm trying to say.
No, I don't know. This is what I know. No, ENAM. This is what I know for ENAM.
No, it is something that.
When you say that, I don't know. This is what I know. Let me say what I know. What I know is that ENAM concours is announced.
It is something in law that we say actionable per se. we don't need to prove it.
Yeah, I know
Yes.
that
We don't need to
once
prove it.
INAM is announced,
Yes.
you go and register. When you register, you write the exam. When you pass the written part, you go for the theoretical, the practical part. If you can pass it, your name will appear.
Means that you are mistaken.
Oh, something has changed.
No, there's something wrong. No. It's not like that.
Okay.
They wrote it narrow. It's narrow. No, I'm just being factual.
Yeah. Why are we so focused on ENAM? I think there are also teachers are even more in deep problem than ENAM, because the number of graduates that comes from ENAM is not up to 1/10 of those who come from teachers training colleges.
Yes.
And there is something too that it was really baffling me about this teachers issue. Somebody goes to ENS, let's say Bambili or inside Bambili, on private, let's say private. Then he trains there for 3 years and he finishes. Then now they launch now government recruitment to go to INSET, that you will be under government.
Yes.
The person still go and write the same exam, they go and study the same syllabus, and the same certificate will be awarded to that person. So I wish to ask my question that, what is the difference between training under government and training as a private student in the same institution?
Maybe there are two different syllables.
No.
Different
Because
classrooms.
when you go to school, you discover that all these people are in one class and they are doing the same thing. The direct entry and the private, they are in the same class and they are doing the same thing. But when you now, because it happened to my junior sister, because she went to ENS on, was INSET on private. Then after 2 years now, she wrote the government and passed. Then went again to year 1 and start coming up. So I asked her, doesn't mean that what you are studying in the private, do you know when you go there now, they select the private people and keep different, and select those with direct entry and keep
Which
different.
means that they also are just giving an integration.
Very good. That's when I say, okay, you that already have the certificate, because it's the same institution that's going to give the same certificate.
Yes. It's
Okay, you that you already have certificate, just take the certificate, just be integrated. But now when we come with this issue of saying, I think that the way government would have done it, in order to avoid other things, as you are saying, they would have said that, okay, we are taking from 2004 to 2006. When we launch again, we take from 2006, coming up gradually and taking everybody, so that there should be that justice. Because somebody will not graduate in 2014, then somebody graduate in 2022, and the person in 2022 is recruited, and somebody in 2014 is still in the house. Normally the person in 2014 will feel as if, I don't belong to this country. This country is not, that Cameroon dream will fade off. And then you will see that he will start to think evil, because you cannot see somebody who was junior will just come junior in school, he was your junior in school, but since he has some connections and the rest of the things, within some few years he becomes your boss. You are not going to be happy. I think that if things are done chronologically, so that everybody can have justice, I think it's going to reduce the problem that we have in this country. Because when we look at like ENAM, as you said, for ENAM, I don't really get worried about them, because I know that those who go to ENAM are those whose parents they're eating well. Those parents are eating well, and even they are not recruited, they will still eat well. They will still, some of them will still drive in cars. Then my problem have always been teachers, because most of them they are peasant children from farmers' children who manage to sell their crops to go to these schools. I think that concerning ENAM, I don't, even if they care, they don't recruit them. But my cry is that teachers who have gone through this training, at least they should be recruited, because it is very painful after you see a farmer working, sow his crops, send a child to INSET, and he comes out, and when they go for recruitment, they send out that other things, in which you can see a very bright child, somebody who is performing excellently, but because he cannot provide other things, he's relegated behind.
When you say other things, what do you mean?
No, Jarvis, there are other things. Those other things might not be. No,
they have to buy
those other things are. Those other things are always counted under the table. So we cannot buy
Those
other things are always counted. They are always counted under the table. So we cannot take things that are counted under the table.
When they go to intention, other things are always that they should come with a rim of paper.
No, we all know we are Cameroonians, and we all know.
No, I don't know. Where do we all know?
No, I know. Let me say I know that those other things are they are not counted on top of the table. They are counted under the table, so we cannot bring them here. But we know that that's what transpires, which is not a good practice to a country like us. And I also want to believe that if government makes it in such a way that there is justice, you get what you deserve. Nobody will fight. If we look at the war in the Northwest and the Southwest, because some people, they feel frustrated. They feel that I have the capability, I have the talent, and since my talent cannot be used because I don't come from a family that matters, they pay people and they have to divert their talent to doing wrong things. For example, when you look at some of these people who are in the bushes, you will see that if these people have actually been enrolled in the military, we will have a very strong force. But some of them, because of one reason or the other, did not have the opportunity. I want to believe that let the government exploit the talent that we have, so that this talent will not be used to cause harm to our country.
Yes, John Minang was said that the best form of justice is our conscience.
Yes.
That truth is bitter, is no the lie.
Yes.
To live long, time short. Mr. Asia, the Guradian Post went further in stating that 71. Let me get the accurate information. It said 71 members of. Let me actually read it as it is from the Guradian Post. It said, please don't call us. Just leave us a message. Don't call us, please. Leave us a message, and we will attend to you. The Guradian Post said 71 board chairpersons illegally occupying offices, and that also some governors are supposed to go on retirement and have not gone on retirement, retired SDO and DOs.
Are we talking only of governors, or we are talking of ministers, or what of you? It's uncalled for. That it is all over. Before I even come there, I wanted to say that when we look at this issue of a NAM and all the like, I think it's a problem of poor governance, because before I train a certain number of teachers, let us take for example the teachers, if there must be a need for training, that gives me to launch a concours because there is a need. But why is it that we keep launching concours every year when we cannot integrate them? It becomes a problem. So keeping that aside, we know about ghost workers in Cameroon. It's not today. We know people that even receive 3 salaries in this country. So it's a problem of the system. It's a problem of accountability. If the system was in such a way that if you are due retirement, it signals at once and you go retirement, it will be very okay. But we understand what the system is. We understand, and that is why some people can even have the same position for even 30 years. It makes no achicancy. And you look at them, we see some people that in this country, I don't think I'm the only one seeing it. They can barely move. When you look at them physically, they are tired. Age-wise, they are tired, but they are still there. So what do you think that we can do about this? So
retired but not tired.
They are retired but not tired. What does it mean? When you say retired, what is retired? It means you are due to rest. And it is very bad in this country that we don't want to accept that we should rest. I used to ask myself, if you work 80 years, you are still working. When are you going to rest?
Know how to sweep the
no, when we talk, there are some proverbs that when we use them, they don't apply. There are certain places that it may apply because there are positions that may warrant wisdom. That one is for sure. But there are positions that they need a sharp young person that can easily go around the field and see whether things are going on or not. So we see it's a system, there's no check and balance in Cameroon. That's why we can say that people, about how many number of workers, they don't have offices, but they are receiving salaries. What is the Ministry of Finance doing? Because the Ministry of Finance is supposed to know the number of workers that are alive and that are on active service.
So you're talking about
it becomes a problem of that ministry.
But how do you are even going to that level? We have seen appointments where coming from the head of state where the person has died already.
No, it goes to the problem of accountability, my brother. Because we should be able to understand the government has to know the number of workers that it has. And if there is a vacancy, it should be a system that if there is a vacancy, it signals at once. No, the problem is the fact that some people cover, and we know, and because they have somebody that is like an umbrella, that place will be there and he continues eating.
I'm saying that we have to deal with individual responsibility, individual honesty when it comes to this, because we have schools where people are no more there, but the principal keeps on telling the people in Yaoundé that the people are there.
So that comes
you don't expect the minister to leave from Yaoundé and go to JHS and come there, or just at Akwaja to go and see whether the teachers are really there. It now boils down to what?
No, let me not.
Very good.
We expect the minister needs to do that. It is his ministry. There are certain things that it is not all sitting in Yaoundé that makes you a good minister, but going to the
we have had cases where they say they are doing census next week. Some people will call people in America that they are doing census in Cameroon. You come there and
let me not quote you again. That is where
we are not honest to ourselves. We are not honest, and we know, and we have colleagues who know that this person is not there, but failure to report.
That is why I'm saying that we don't even need to announce those things. Because when we announce, we prepare people. It is true, when we announce that there is a censor, we prepare the ground.
The world has become a global village where before you leave your office, you come to Bamenda. Your friend in Bamenda has already called the friend to
but this issue would have been resolved if powers had been dedicated to the local communities. So, for example, we are talking about the special status. Let's use the North and South region as an example. The special status, where they say schools will be under the regional assembly. So, which means that the president of the regional assembly, who is on the ground, can better do an impromptu visit without an
that's what I'm saying.
And secondly, we also look at
decentralization, a proper decentralization.
We also look at the digital signatures, digital signing in and signing out. Where you clock in, you clock out. We have fingerprints in it. We have seen other nations that goes beyond fingerprints.
Electricity.
Where is the electricity? It still comes from when you ask for the electricity. Who is to be blamed when it comes to electricity?
We
have long pangada is there. We have this.
School like GSS Akwaja. A child has never seen some people. I think they're by electricity.
Let me come. This one coming from my very good friend Rose. He says, "Good afternoon to you all and all the panelists. Talking about the 5 batches of magistrate, they have been posted already, but they have been posted already by a ministerial decision, though their full salaries are not yet out." Yeah, you wanted to say something?
I want to talk about the issue of the ministers maybe going to access what is being done on the field or whatsoever. My problem was accountability, because we have delegates. We have people right to the subdivisional levels. We have delegates of basic education. We have inspectors. But the problem here is assessing them and giving accountability